Thank you all very much for being here today. Just a note to our media, especially those of you who have requested interviews with Coach Hall. We will do that immediately following the press conference, just right up here. We'll do it very informally, and Coach Hall and our athletic director, Andy Carter, will be available to answer whatever questions that you have. Also at that time, I'll have a copy of the official university news release regarding the hire that we'll be releasing at that point. So as far as any questions regarding photos and things, I'll visit with you a little bit later after that. I do want to thank everybody for taking the time to come here today. Apparently we must have reserved the front row for somebody special because no one chose to make that their home, but we do appreciate you coming. Would like to introduce the president of Northwestern, Dr. Janet Cunningham. Of course, I think all of you know her, what a supporter that she has been to our athletic programs, particularly with our Vision for Victory program that really has kind of transformed our athletic program, and also our commitment to move our athletic programs to Division II, which we feel obviously is a huge step for the university and a great opportunity for our student athletes. So with that, I will introduce Dr. Cunningham.
I think we're looking at church, because usually that front row is always left for people at church. So I would like to welcome all of you here today. It looks like we have a good sprinkling of some faculty and staff, and looks like we got some players out there, and I'm glad to see you here, because your future could possibly change a little bit, and I'm glad to see that you're taking an interest in what might happen in our program. Athletics is an exciting part of collegiate life, and it's an integral part of collegiate life. I think we all know that academics is why we're here, but there are a lot of lessons that are outside of the classroom, and athletics is very instrumental in teaching a lot of those life's lessons. It's no different here at Northwestern. We have a long tradition of intercollegiate athletics from our beginning in 1897. I haven't gone back and looked at the stats lately, but you know, we had some wins against schools like the University of Oklahoma and Oklahoma State University when we were first starting out. It's exciting to start a new era of anything, and we're getting ready to do that in our football program. And I am looking for bigger and better things always. I mean, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. And my intention is to move us forward. As we look at NCAA 2, I think that's a big part of where the institution needs to go. And I'm excited about the Coach Hall era. I'm going to let our athletic director, Andy Carter, who's just in the short time that he's been here, I think is helping us to move forward. He has a lot of NCAA 2 experience. He has a lot of contacts and quite a network in the athletic world, and I'm going to turn it over to Andy and let him do the formal introductions.
Thank you, Dr. Cunningham. We're really excited about being here today. Thankful that you showed up. Let me talk to you about the process and kind of how that went. Is that obviously when Coach Bearfield resigned, we began immediately getting the word out, advertising, letting folks know that we had a search going on for a new football coach. And I have to tell you that it was a bit overwhelming, at least initially, the number of people that were contacting us by text or email, you know, phone call in the office, phone call on the cell phone. And trying to reach out to find out, because this program has a history of success and people want to be involved with things that are successful. I think we ended up with just over 50 or 52 official applications, but I can tell you there was probably double that in partial applications or people who called and were interested in the position. So I felt like we would have a great opportunity to find the right person to lead this program. As we started going through the process, you know, there were some things that I laid out as a profile that I thought were very important as we move from where we are to that Division II membership and active in the Great American Conference. And you know, I started thinking about Alan Hall. Alan was an offensive coordinator, assistant head coach when I was the athletic director at Newberry College. We brought him on as we made a change there, and he was instrumental in turning that program and pointing it in the right direction. Coach Hall has a wealth of experience. He's coached different places all over the country. He played at a very high level, University of Miami, and so he has the type of experience. But the number one thing about Coach Hall is I trust him implicitly. He's the kind of man that needs to lead other people. We will have priorities in line. We will have academic excellence. We will have football excellence. And this program is about ready to take off. And I'm really excited about that. Coach Hall's experience is on the offensive side of the ball, serving as offensive coordinator at every level he's been at, all the way through Division I. He'll bring a really exciting brand of football. But he's also well-rounded in his football experience, and our defense will be just as a big a part of our success. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you my good friend, somebody I really think is going to take us places that we want to go, Mr. Alan Hall.
Thank you. It's been some time since I've worn one of those, and I wouldn't do it justice. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. There's a scripture from the Bible that sums up my excitement for today. So if you'll indulge me for a second. In 2 Samuel, it says, "God is my strength and power, and he maketh my way perfect." Today is a perfect day for me. This is a dream come true to head up my own college football program. And I can't think of a better place to start my head coaching career than right here at Northwest. I'd first like to start off with a few thank yous. I'd like to thank Dr. Cunningham for a wonderful interview experience when I came out here for a few days. I met with her as well as members of her cabinet. And there's a quote I shared with her from one of her cabinet members. I won't share who it was. But when I asked everyone about Dr. Cunningham and working for her and being part of this institution, the quote that was given to me was, "The president is well liked by everybody." By everybody. And I stopped and thought about that for a second, because in 18 years, I've been in a lot of college campuses, and usually somebody doesn't like the president. Whether it's faculty, whether it's athletic department, whether it's students, somebody's at war with the president, but evidently not here. So hopefully it's certainly not going to be athletics, at least not football. Coach Carter, the athletic director, for presenting me with this opportunity. That was one of the glowing aspects of getting involved in applying for this job. Having worked for him, I've seen what he's been able to do, taking a program that we inherited at Newberry in 2003, which was arguably the worst program in Division II football. Hadn't won a conference game, I think, in 4 or 5 years. To see that thing grow in the span of 4 years, we're at the 4-year mark, they were winning conference championship. That's an incredible hurdle and an incredible time frame to do those things, and that's a direct result of his leadership and how he was able to grow the athletic department. So having seen that firsthand, I know what he's capable of, and it comes back to his work ethic and how well he puts his efforts behind the coaches he hires, the student athletes that are involved in the athletic department. He truly cares, and that's always a great thing to have when you start a new venture like this for me, to have somebody like that you trust watching your back. That's very important. Probably most importantly, and luckily she's not here, or otherwise I'd hear about it afterwards. I didn't thank my wife first. You'll have to forgive me. She couldn't make it today. She's 15 weeks pregnant, so she wasn't up for the trip. But after I applied for the job and getting ready to come interview, my days already are quite long, being a head coach and athletic director when I was. But I was up late at night, feverishly taking notes, studying the internet, looking at researching Northwestern and the town of Alva itself, and trying to gather all my data just to see or try to get as good a feel as I could about what I was going to get into if this was to work out. She said, "Honey, I've never seen you, work this hard before." She said, "You spent a lot of late nights breaking film down and those kind of things, but never have I seen you put in the preparation just for an interview before. Usually you just go and kind of wing it." And I said, "Well," you have to, let me put this in terms you can understand. I said, as a girl, you prepare your whole life for your wedding day. You're looking at magazines. That's what football coaches do for a head college job. They prepare almost their whole life putting things together and saying, if I ever get the opportunity to sit in that chair, this is how I'm going to do it. So I want to thank her for her time in putting up with me, because it's not always the easiest. I want to thank the student athletes, the football players that are here today. Some of you were here a couple of weeks ago when I came to interview, and it was a pleasure meeting with you and getting a feel for where the program's at and what your thoughts were and what things we can do to make things better. From our football program, what you can expect to see from us, my philosophy, I shared this with Coach Carter and several other members I met with. My philosophy is simply this. I want our players to become better Christians, better brothers, better husbands, better fathers, better sons, better members of their community, wherever they're from, than had they not played here. My goal is not to get them to the NFL. I would like to say my goal is not to win championships, but if I said that, or if I did that, I probably wouldn't be here very long. But I want our kids to become better men. I want our athletes to grow up and to be something they can go home and be proud of. How we do that, there's 3 principles or 3 bedrocks that we live by. The first one is character. Character is something that everyone can display. An old ball coach once said, "You win with character, not characters." And so that's something that is very important to me and that we will continue to work on daily. Excellence, to strive for excellence, whether it's on the field or off, in the classroom, community service outreach, whatever endeavor we take on, we're going to strive to do it the best we can do. And lastly is respect. Respect for each other, respect for the school, respect for our colleagues, respect for our professors, respect for our coaches and staff, respect for women, something that I believe is a foregone afterthought. And talk about that, I've got a 5-year-old daughter, and your perspective changes some things when you've got a little girl at home. But I'd like to see our players, stop and open a door for a female. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, things like that. It's just something, that's how I was raised, and that's something I feel is not always looked at as appropriate behavior anymore. And it's something you'll come to expect from us. My brand of football, we can get more into that afterwards if you have exact questions, but from an offensive standpoint, we are a fast-paced, up-tempo, physical style of play. It's a lot similar to, say, the University of Oregon or Oklahoma State. That gives you, I hope I didn't offend any Sooner fans in here. But that's the kind of offense we're accustomed to playing, and sometimes you have to tailor that or skew that to the personnel on hand, and as we continue to grow, we'll continue to recruit to that style of environment. Defensively, you're going to see an aggressive style attack defense that's going to live in the critical area of getting off the field on 3rd down. You don't win the 3rd downs, you wind up staying on the field longer. The longer you're on the field, the higher percentage are you giving up points. The more points you're giving up, obviously you know where that's going. Games are won and lost. But again, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. I'm so excited to be here. I'm a little choked up, so please forgive me if I'm not speaking as eloquently as I quite like, but it's an emotional time for me. I'm very excited about this opportunity. My staff's going to try and hit the ground running as fast as we can with recruiting to go on. The state championships are being played. There's here in Oklahoma we have to go get and see some folks. So I'll finish with three words. Ride, Rangers, ride.
Thank you, Coach Hall. Welcome to Northwestern.
If you could, I'd just like you to fill in the timeline from Newberry to now.
Okay. As far as where I've been,
The dates.
I gotcha. I was at Newberry College from 2003 to 2006. I was at East Mississippi Community College from 2006 to 2008. 2008, I went to Savannah State University as the offensive coordinator. 2009, I went to Winston-Salem State University. Yes, and then I came back to Savannah State in 2010. And this currently, or up until today, I've been at the Bible Baptist School in Savannah, Georgia.
Where's a little zag away from Savannah State and then back?
It's a good question. The head football coach at Savannah State was having some difficulties. He had some integrity issues and some dealings that he was doing, and I didn't want to be a part of it. And I informed the athletic director and the president about it, and they didn't exactly want to move swiftly after him only being there 1 year. And I told them that if the ship was going down, I didn't want to be a part of it. But I informed the president at that time, Dr. Yarborough, that if you saw fit to make a change, I would enjoy coming back. I've enjoyed my time here. And that December, they relieved Coach Wells of his duties, and the athletic director at the time called me in January and asked me to come back. And as I left things, that's exactly what I did. I came back in March 2010.
Sure.
I was just gonna ask, what are you gonna do about the current players that were here last year?
I'm not going to do anything, but first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to meet with them as a team, and then I'm going to meet with them all individually. I'm going to have them sign up to come by and see me one-on-one, and I'm going to find out from them what their intentions are. After that, we're going to move forward with our, we've got finals that end next Friday, and they'll be going home for Christmas, and then we'll move forward into our off-season conditioning and winter program starting in January when they come back. But as far as I'm concerned, when I address the team later on today, it's going to be an open forum, but it's going to be, I'm going to tell them it's like a job interview from here on out. I don't know them on a personal level and didn't recruit any of them, so I'm not looking to get rid of anybody. But things are going to change. There's going to be a different standard in place. We're not going to do things the way the old staff did. So, everybody will be given a fair shake to continue to be here and be a part of the program. It's just going to be a matter of what they're willing to put into it in order to get what they're getting out of it. Go ahead.
How much of the old staff are going to be here next year? Are you planning on keeping anyone?
Well, I'll address that. We've given Coach Hall the opportunity to bring his own staff. And so the folks that are here, the 2 full-time staff members will remain on faculty and teach throughout the rest of their appointment here. But we're actually right in the middle of the process of hiring staff right now. So they'll start as soon as we, locate them.
So they might not come with you, you might hire just new people from some third place?
We are going to be hiring whole new staff for football.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys that are here will remain on payroll, teaching their courses, absolutely. But it's my philosophy in doing this for a lot of years that when you make a change, you need to make a change, and to let Alan have his own staff is the right thing to do, and so that was the decision from the very beginning.
Would the staff that you ultimately select, would possibly some of them come from where you
They will ultimately, or a majority of them will be either coaches I'm working with or have worked with, you know, that I have some familiarity with, certainly.
We talking 2 coaches? How many coaches are we talking?
Well, 2 full-time and then some GAs, you know. I think just philosophically, this business is a relational business. And so, you know, as an athletic director, when given the opportunity, and all things are pretty much equal, if I can hire somebody I know, I feel a lot more confident about what I'm gonna get. And I think coaches are the same way. You know, any coach, I remember when I got my first head coaching position, you know, now the record's on me. And so I want to have people around me that I trust and can take us where we need to go. And I think Coach Hall feels exactly the same way, that this is a great opportunity and we want to make sure we get it right as fast as we can.
You have any new coaches hired yet, or
No.
still just in the
No,
process?
we're very close, but there's a process that you have to go through. And so we're excited about that.
Are you moved here already?
No, sir. No, sir. I just came in last night.
Okay.
The
Well,
plan
I mean,
is,
that's tough.
he's, today's his first day of work, okay? We brought him in last night, and I was actually out of town at Great American Conference meetings in Little Rock. I got in about midnight last night, so today's his first day, and we're still getting offices and keys and all that kind of thing. He'll have to make a trip back to Savannah, and then he'll recruit all the way back out here for over, you know, probably by around the 15th or 20th or something like that. But he's going to be here until all of the students leave, so we can meet with them and make sure that they're all on the same page before they go home for Christmas.
Sure.
So, you know, I just felt like that it was important that we had new leadership in place before the students left. It would be not a very good break for them being left out in the cold. And when, you know, I'm the type of person that, you know, sometimes it takes me a while to warm up to an idea, but when I knew that Coach Hall was the guy, then it was pretty quick after that. And we decided to make this move very fast.
How many of your former schools were D1 or D2 NCAA?
Number, or you want the actual names?
Just both, please.
Savannah State University, Division I. Winston-Salem State, Division I. It's Division II now. It was Division I when I was there. They've moved backwards since. Of course, Newberry College was Division II. Adams State College was Division II. Those are the ones that were Division I or Division II.
So you're, of course, I know the rules always change, but you're comfortable with Division II rules?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Feel
That
very
obviously
confident.
was a big part of, you know, the hire, is having somebody who understood what we can and cannot do. You're right, we get a new interpretation all the time, but by and large, the knowledge base is there, and he's very comfortable. I'm very comfortable that he knows that.
You said at Newberry, in 4 years, you were winning national champions.
Conference champions.
Oh yeah, conference championships. Well, you know, like last year we didn't have such a good season. How long do you think it'll take you to get Northwestern?
You'd like me to answer that one. You know, with every program, you first got to look and see what's there. You know, this is a unique situation because we're going to be moving into Division II. I mean, there's a jump going from NEI to Division II. You know, a lot of people think, you know, it's not that big a deal. It's a big deal. You know, for me to put a number on it, I wish we could play for a conference championship next fall. You know, as I told the players when I met with them a few weeks back, I said they keep score for a reason. You know, whether you're playing for a conference title or you're playing for a bowl berth or a playoff berth or not, they're going to keep score each and every week. And 10 years from now, they're going to look back and remember what you did. You know, what was your record in 2012? Well, we were 10-0. Okay, great. They don't know that, you know, you may not have been able to compete for a conference title or a playoff berth. They're just going to remember what your record was. We're going to go out there and try to win every game. How fast we're putting a conference championship together, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. That's hard to pinpoint. And we're gonna try and do it as fast as possible, but the most important thing is we wanna do it the right way. And we wanna do it in a way in which it's gonna sustain over time. You know, too many people can run out and try to put a program together in a year to go out there and win, but at some point that thread starts to peel back and it starts to fall apart because you haven't built the foundation in order to see the program flourish and grow over a great big, a wealth of number of years. And that's what we want to see here. We want to see the program get back to where it's sustaining itself year after year after year. And that's the part that takes a little while to build.
And I'd also say that part of my drawing toward Allen was the fact that, you know, we have a transition period of 3 years where we're not gonna be competing for championships. And that takes a lot of energy out of somebody to stay on path, to be ready for that 4th year. In our transition to Division II, that's just the way the rules are. We don't get to compete for the championship. But that doesn't mean we can't win every game. That doesn't mean we can't be the, you know, look at what Southern California is doing. You know, they don't get to go to a bowl game, but there's no one out there that says they're not deserving. They just don't get to go because of the issues they've had to deal with. So we're put in this situation, and I want a leader that could sustain us through that transition so that we aren't limping into the Division II. We're arriving, and we're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
You said you prepared a lot for this interview. Did you study at all the GAC, the Great American Conference?
Being that it's relatively young, probably not as much as I'd like to have. I got familiar with who was in it, and I know some of those
strange
coaches.
names in that conference.
After we beat them, I'll learn what their mascots are, but there are some interesting ones. But I think it's an exciting opportunity. It's a good league. It's going to be a competitive league, and I think it's definitely one that we can excel in once we get, you know, like I said before, the foundation in place and we start seeing some fruits of that labor.
Since you can't compete right off the bat, you think it'll be harder for the recruiting process? Like telling them that
I'm sure it'll be used against us, but here's the thing: we're selling more than just the being a member of the GAC. We're selling we're selling the dream. You know, we're selling the institution. There's a lot more things that go involved in terms of that recruiting process. Because just my philosophy, whether it's right or whether it's wrong, if you're recruiting a kid just to win football games, you know, there's a good chance that kid's not going to pan out in the long run. You know, he's got to be bought into what the mission of the institution is. You know, because there's life after football. You don't know what that kid's future holds over the course of 4 years. He's got to be comfortable being here no matter what happens on or off the field.
How successful were the teams that you coached for at Newberry and Savannah State and Winston-Salem?
Ooh, well, in terms of wins and losses. Our first year at Newberry, we were 3-7. The fortunate, or the asterisk in that point is three of those wins were conference wins, which, like I said before, was the first time they had won any conference games in, I think, 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
The next year, we were 5-6, and the third year, we were 5-4. We had a game that was canceled due to a hurricane, and we couldn't make it up because of the conference schedule.
I'll interject there. The following year, after Allen had left, we were 11-1 and made Division II playoffs. First time in school history. And, you know, if you know anything about football, you know, it's that build-up that gets you successful. And Allen had a big part to do with that. Training the quarterback. Quarterback was a Harlan Hill candidate, which is the Division II Heisman. And that was somebody that Allen had recruited and trained. And so he wasn't there. We didn't give him a ring, but he was a big part of that.
You could give him one now.
Only if I gave him mine, and I don't think that's going to happen.
The next 2 years at East Mississippi, we were 5-4. Savannah State, in 2008, we were 5-7. And that's the most wins they had in 1 year in 12 years. Give you an idea, the head coach I worked for was 7-19 in 2 years, and he was the winningest coach of the decade.
Really?
That's how bad that
Tough
program
job.
was when we took it
And he was doing
over.
it the wrong way, apparently.
And then Winston-Salem, we were 1-10. And what happened was, after the second game of the season, we played Florida A&M on a Thursday night on ESPN on national television. And that Friday morning, the president called the entire athletic department into a meeting and told the kids we were going back to Division II, and that they were all free to transfer wherever they wanted to, and the NCAA wasn't gonna hold it against them. And we showed up for practice Sunday night, and I bet you we didn't have 40 kids. Now, we eventually got them back, but, you know, as a coach, if you have nothing to hang over a kid, you know, there's no discipline structure, because the kids know, well, if I don't wanna play or I don't wanna work hard, I'm just gonna go leave, because can't do nothing about it. I can transfer, you don't have to be released, you know, there's no hold. You know, again, if they're not bought into just being there to be students, you know, that's the business side of it. Unfortunately, that was not a good situation to be in, so.
You said that your specialty is offense, and you attended the University of Miami. What was your position?
At Miami, quarterback.
You mind if I ask where that ring? What's the ring?
National championship, 1991.
Is this your first head coach job?
Head college coaching job.
Okay.
Like I said, I was the head coach and athletic director at a private K-12 high school there in Savannah.
Appreciate you coming here.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.